Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Blade Runner 2049. Man, that movie was amazing. On a 5-star scale, Blade Runner is 6 stars. It's just a tremendous film. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about story elements that I thought were particularly strong in the film that I just really dug, right? Okay, but first, I want to call out 2 specific roles in the film and the actors who portrayed those roles. So, Barkhad Abdi played Doc Badger, one of my absolute favorite characters within the film. And so Doc Badger played kind of a tech, a street tech, right? So, almost like a tinkerer, right? And actually, so Blade Runner K goes to him and has him research this wooden toy horse, and Doc Badger's like, "You have wood, man." Like, and he, and it just told so much about this world that, like, this one wooden horse, right, was worth a real horse, right? And it was just like, holy cows, man, it's so wild because trees are so rare, right? And it's just really fascinating, man. This movie was so good. All right, so anyway, but I really like Doc Badger, one of my favorite characters in there. Barkhad Abdi was in the Captain movie with Tom Hanks, where, it was kind of a true story about these pirates who took this commercial liner off the coast of Africa. And so that was the first place I saw Barkhad Abdi, and I really liked him in that film, and he was just fantastic in this movie. I wish he could have been in the movie a little more, but I understand why they had to limit that role. Another actor I really enjoyed in this was Lenny James, is the name of the actor, and in the movie he played Mr. Cotton, a straight up villain, who is like a Fagin type character who had like he had like 100 children laboring for him, like breaking apart tech, and then they would use that tech, to build different things, or really just, sell, chips and things for scrap. Absolutely brilliant, man. Like, just so, like, really good character. Lenny James was fantastic in this role. And by the way, if you don't know Lenny James, probably his most prominent role right now is he plays Morgan on The Walking Dead, and he's just so strong in this film. So some strong story elements I really liked from Blade Runner 2049. I can't stop raving about this movie. I'm so happy to be on the other side of this film and to be able to learn more about the characters. I want to read books in this world. I want to see more movies. But really, this is a request to the producers of Blade Runner 2049. Man, I want books. Give me novels, right? And I think the reason why is I know it's going to be really hard to create movies. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be like a few years, but you can write novels fairly quickly. And I'd really love, a novel or two to get me through the next movie. And there's so many story spaces. There's so many story spaces for Blade Runner 2049. Like, give me a book for every one of the 9 worlds that we've inhabited, right? But I also even know that's going to be difficult because it might tie their hands for the films. It's so crazy, man. Just like really wild, and it's really something. So I really like where they're heading with this, and it's just fantastic. So some of the things I really liked in the movie were flying cars. The flying cars were done really well, and one of the things that was really cool is, like, in Blade Runner, right, 1982 Blade Runner, we get to see these flying cars, and it's so clear, like, in there, that these flying cars, when you see them, they're like on cranes, or they're like on a pitchfork, like whatever those like pitchfork trucks are, they're just kind of jacked up in the film, and they were doing the best they could in 1982. But now in Blade Runner 2049, and this goes right to Denis Villeneuve's crazy expertise as a director. he's able to put these flying cars throughout the film, like just all over the movie. And there's no limit to where we can put these flying cars, what we can show them doing. And I was just wonderfully excited to see these flying cars in this film because, you know, we all want flying cars. And one of the things is, you know, in the 50s, everybody thought we would have flying cars by now. Everybody thought we'd have flying cars 30 years ago, maybe 40, right? And, you know, and in this movie, you get to see what flying cars are really like. And they're awesome. I mean, they're incredible. You know, like, you could cut down, you know, you don't have to worry about traffic. And, you know, it's just like super, man, they are like super pimp. Like, flying cars are the best, right? And you could see that in the film, like, and the way they look, how they operate, how they land, how they turn, everything, man. Like, the fact that, you know, they're automated so you can just sleep. You don't really have to drive them if you don't want to. Like, and that's another thing. Like, back in 1982, nobody was talking about driverless cars, you know, and the reason why was it wasn't even attractive then, you know, like, who wanted driverless cars then? And now, boy, how much has our world changed that people want driverless cars? Really kind of interesting. So I thought the flying cars were amazing. Cyberpunk Los Angeles, man. By the way, I want to be clear here. Blade Runner 2049. So the flying cars in Blade Runner 2049, absolutely phenomenal. The CGI looks flawless. It was just really, really well done. All right, so I want to pick up a quick thread here. I hear a lot of reviewers talking about Blade Runner 2049, and a lot of reviewers coming to Blade Runner 2049 they might be aware of Blade Runner, but a lot of them aren't aware of Blade Runner's history. And so Blade Runner is the absolute iconic cyberpunk film, okay? So cyberpunk is a genre it created, invented, maintained, and now abandoned by William Gibson. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant writer who is now writing outside of the cyberpunk genre, which is completely cool. And actually, let's talk about this for a minute. Cyberpunk is a failed future vision of our world, right? So William Gibson said, hey, this is what the world's going to look like in the future, and I'm going to tell fiction stories in it, right? Well, we all know that, you know, that the future isn't mirror shades and long trench coats, right? That's just not what's going to happen, right? And so William Gibson really presented a failed vision of the future, right? But that failed vision of the future is absolutely invaluable. Cyberpunk has really impacted deeply science fiction. And sometimes something can fail to achieve its goal and achieve goals that was never intended to achieve. And that's exactly what Cyberpunk did. Cyberpunk really allowed a lot of people to tell some really awesome stories in a genre they didn't create, right? And those stories are wonderfully valuable, and they're terrific, right? And so Cyberpunk is really unique. And I just wanted to say, I think that Blade Runner 2049 is a cyberpunk movie. It is not sci-fi noir, and it is not film noir. It is cyberpunk, all right? So I just wanted to throw that out there. Just want to say one more time, if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you've already seen it, go see it again. Blade Runner 2049 cannot recommend it high enough. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.